What's going on YouTube? Back with another video and a commentary here. I want to apologize for no upload last week. First and foremost, I am a college student and my education does come first over YouTube. YouTube is something I'm doing in my spare time right now. Hopefully I can do it more and more often as time progresses, but in the meantime I will try to upload once a week, but if I don't, please just know that I'm studying my ass off and trying to get through college. Here's my shoulder and chest workout. It's part of a new split that I've been doing for a little bit, and to be honest, I'm going to go back to my old routine. And just because I don't feel like the intensity is here in in this split, I should say, and I'm not enjoying it as much as my other workouts, so I am going to go back. So that'll be the change up in there. Just letting you know. But here I am doing a shoulder press with dumbbells. Of course, I started off at 50, went up to 55, and then went to 60. For 50 and 55, I did 10 reps. 60, however, I was not able to. I fell short about, I think I got 6 or 8 reps total. So I need to either A, drop back the weight, or make those 6 reps count. And by that, I mean keep the form as strict as possible and not cheat. The way people cheat on this is they start arcing their back and start making this from a shoulder press to a incline dumbbell bench press, and that's not what I want to do. And yeah, that was 6 reps. But here is the incline bench press, and this is something I do want to do. So here I am noticing that I do have a little muscular imbalance in my chest, and I am working on this. And the ways you can do this is to isolate the pec. So if you have a hammer strength machine that is a isolateral or a unilateral, it should say on the side. That just means it's isolating one side, and you can add a couple reps on the weaker side to help balance out your chest. Also, if you're experiencing any wrist pains, I recommend getting some wrist wraps or keeping your wrist in a neutral position. Don't hyperextend the wrist because that's where your pain is coming from. And on this, you want to bring it to the top of the manubrium or the top of the sternum on the incline and really focus on the pushing portion of this exercise. Now, pressing is also kind of a feel thing. If you don't feel the grip and you don't like how it feels, switch up the grip. Find a grip that works for you. Just try not to flare out your elbows too much. Try to keep the strain as much as you can off your shoulders, and I promise it's a great exercise for your upper chest. Here I am doing a shoulder press with the barbell. It's a freestanding. I am using low weight because I do have that imbalance, so I don't want to go too heavy. But when you bring it up over the head, you can lock out and bring it just slightly in front of your chin to the top of the sternum by the manubrium. And I go up to 25s on each side, and I do 10 reps. I do notice on the second to last rep, I struggle a little bit. So on the last rep, I use a little cheat method. Basically, just bend your knees ever so slightly and then pop up, and then it allows you to use that momentum from that to push up the weight. So if you want to go up a little heavier, you can do this, and it allows you to push up through. But if I do put 45 or 35 on the other side, I will incorporate a belt just simply to keep my back from caving in. The next exercise I'm doing, it is a lat pull down machine, but I'm not pulling down to my chest like a normal lat pull down. I'm pulling behind my head and getting a good retraction in the scapula right there. And I really enjoy this. It's similar to as if you were pulling up with a easy bar, like you had your hands in the middle and you just pull up. I do a variant of the exercise later on, and I'll tell you when that comes up. But here I am not going all the way up to the top. I'm keeping tension constant and just pulling down. And it's really good exercise. Feels really nice, and I highly recommend it if you want to try it out. Moving on towards, I go into a incline dumbbell press, and it's one of those things that I've been working on and focusing on. I have a photo from last year that I've been looking at, and I noticed that my upper chest is just much more developed since incorporating incline press. So if you're lacking in that region, you want to bring it up, I highly recommend incorporating incline pressing into your workouts. In my opinion, it's more effective than flat bench, since flat bench is more of an overall exercise, works the entire pec, and to focus and isolate, I shouldn't say isolate, but to put more of the tension on the upper portion, go ahead and incorporate that incline.
Go.
The side lateral raise is by far my favorite exercise, simply because you see it in a lot of videos, and I'm sure it's everybody's favorite to record or take pictures of. Simply because depending on your body fat levels, you can see a lot of the striations and the definition in your muscles doing this exercise, mainly in the traps, in the deltoid, and the bicep, and some of the forearm depending on your lighting, and the chest depending on the size, of course. And I started off with 25, I did 10 reps, and then I dropped down to 20, I did 12 reps, brain froze there, and then I went to 15 pounds and I did 14 reps. When I get to the 15 pounds, I incorporate a method that I picked up from Steve Cook. Basically, at the top portion of the exercise, you're kind of just imagining you're doing these with jugs of water, and at the top, you're pouring it out. And you're moving over and telling the cameraman to get in front of me. So here you'll see that, boom, I am pouring out the water right here. And what this does, it puts a little bit more emphasis on the traps, and that's all right. But this exercise is really good for the deltoid entirely because it works out the lateral and the anterior portion. It does work out the posterior, but not as much. More of the emphasis, again, is on the lateral side and the anterior. Moving on into a incline cable fly. I started off with 20 pounds on each side. Well, each cable has got 20 pounds total resistance. And I'm doing touch and goes. I normally would do like one hand over the other and reverse on each side, and then do touch and goes to fail. But it just wasn't feeling it, so today I did some touch and goes. Went up to 25 and then 35. And the machine behind me needs some like, this is a very old facility. A lot of the equipment I would say is from the late 80s, early 90s. And so some of it's a little bit unorthodox that you're not used to seeing at your classic commercial gyms like Alpha or 24 Hour. And but they're all still effective and they get the job done. So whatever it takes. And I have this bad habit whenever if I mess up like a clip or an audio, I tend like to start going like, or you're really serious. And can't tell you how many times I've re-recorded this commentary, but you know what? We're sticking with it. We're gonna go for it. This next one I am moving into is it's a superset exercise. My cameraman kind of little gets the parts I want and then he doesn't. But what I start off with is a front raise with a barbell. I usually use EZ bar, but this facility does not have EZ bars available to me, so I made work with what I had. I used a straight barbell. It's only 40 pounds. I don't need to go too heavy on this weight because I'm working out it's a front raise, so this is the interior delt here. And keeping a slight bend in my arm. Don't want to go too straight because when you put up the further out you hold something from your core, the more difficult it is to maintain it and hold it. And I don't want to swing too crazy on this. So I drop there and I pick up dumbbells. These are only 35, and this would replace. I would normally do this with an EZ bar, but since I didn't have it, and it's a lot less stress on the wrist, so I just used dumbbells. And what I did was one side up and then the other side, and then I did them together for a total of 8 reps each time. I did 3 sets of 8, and 8 for the front raise, so and 8 for the lateral. Excuse me. the I actually forgot the name, but moving on. This is one go. One go, one go. Let's do it. Boom, exercise. Excellent. My commentaries are great, I know. And yes. Awkward pause. Got it. Moving on. The next exercise, I use a Smith machine for it. It's not like your other classes. Some Smith machines have a slight angle to them, and then other Smith machines are straight up and down vertical Smith machines. And you can do this with dumbbells, a barbell, or a Smith machine, depending on your preference. I kind of like the Smith machine a little bit more than free weight, simply because it's in a fixed range of motion. It's not going to go forward, it can't go backwards, it can go up and down. And some people might not like it because depending on where you stand on it, and I had some issues in the workout where because on a Smith machine you can lock, like in case you can't do the last rep, or say you're failing and you need to get out of that situation and you don't have a spot. It's a great, if you don't have a workout partner, I highly recommend using Smith machines, simply because as you can see there, I can quickly lock it and the weight stays right there. So here, this is where the problem occurred, because you were able to lock it out, and where I'm standing, my wrist just twisted to where it's not in this set, but in the next few sets you'll notice, like, I don't include it, but it hits. Actually, I did include it. Yeah, and some camera failure here. But here you'll probably see it in just a second. Boom, it happened right there. So I adjusted, picked up back where I left off. I think I got 3 reps, and then I did it again. Ding. So yeah, switched it up. Problem solved. And so yep, finishing up that set that I had all the errors on, and then I added another 10 on each side. Kaboom, magic. Actually, I added 20, excuse me. And this is more difficult. I usually have my Versa grips for this exercise, but I forgot to bring them. So I did what I could, and I decided to do a drop set. I wanted my cameraman to record the drop set portion, taking off the weight. Yeah, you see I took off 20 pounds to each side, hit 4 reps, take off the weight, and then rep out the last few sets. I went to 8, I believe. And they always going to make that one face right there. You can see it right at the top portion of the exercise. I call it the shrug face. I'm sure other people have names for it, but it's unavoidable. And I see this exercise a lot at the gym. And lift up, keep your head, don't bobble your head back and forth on this exercise, and do not grind your shoulders up and down like in a circular motion. That's just so painful to watch, and it's not, it's not beneficial to you whatsoever. Just pull up, hold it at the top, slowly retreat, let it go down on the eccentric portion, and that's how you get the effect of, hold it a little bit at the top and then focus on the way down. Here I am doing a decline bench press, or military press, however you want to call it. And on this, the important part is to bring it down where you place it across the chest. You want to bring this down to the xiphoid process, or the bottom of the sternum. And when we get there, you notice I kind of hold it for a second and then I press up. And if you really want to keep the tension constant throughout your entire chest, don't lock out. When you lock out, that's when the triceps kick in, because triceps are a secondary muscle to this exercise, mainly the chest. And I'm doing this to put more focus on the lower portion of my chest. Again, there is only one thing of your chest, is just the pectoralis major. There is no upper or lower chest, but you can choose where the stress is on the chest, and it's going to engage more of those fibers, versus if I did an incline or a flat press. This is my last exercise, and it is a rear delt pull. You can do this with dumbbells. I prefer the cable just because I can keep the weight constant, and I have a little bit more control over it. But I'm going to let this clip play, and see you all in the next video. With you.
No, I haven't. Go.